Hi there, it's Lianne Phillipson coming to you from liannephillipson.com headquarters. I'm used to saying sproutright.com, of course, my other brand. So just getting my head wrapped around that one. How are you? How is your summer going? I'm back from a really long trip to Down Under. I had a fabulous time and thoroughly enjoyed all the space and beauty and beaches and ocean and food. Oh my goodness, the food was tremendous. So I hope you've had some beautiful food experiences, not necessarily all ice cream and sugary stuff. But today, what I wanted to talk about was is it possible to have a healthy hot dog? Do those two words actually go in the same sentence together? Well, with all the barbecuing, all the outdoor eating, all the gatherings, all of those kind of things, it's really, really easy to just throw some hot dogs on the barbecue and think, oh, yeah, well, I'll feed the adults the steak or the chicken or the this, but the kids, they'll always eat the hot dogs. Or the adults do, or you're going to a game, going to see go to see a baseball game, and you think, oh yeah, I'll just get a dog from the corner, or I'll get one at the park. It's just a fabulous, I don't know, sort of sentimental thing to do, maybe because it's something that we think of that goes along with going to the ball game or something like that. But in actual fact, no matter where you're putting your hot dog, no matter who you're giving your hot dog to, it is a processed food. So let's break that down a little bit, because I don't just want to say never eat a hot dog again. I don't eat hot dogs. I can't even tell you the last time I ate a hot dog, and that's my personal choice. But that doesn't mean that I feel like you should do exactly the same thing. So I do want to break this down so that you make an informed choice and you make the best choice possible, because they're going to happen anyway. You're going to be somewhere and you're going to think, oh, I'm just going to go and get a hot dog, and you're going to eat it and you're going to think, oh, that reminds me of this or that or this experience or whatever, until it lands in your stomach and you think, oh gosh, that doesn't feel so good. So when choosing, if you're going to put a hot dog on your barbecue, if you're going to cook them in the summertime, there are some slightly healthier options. If you can search around and look for them, not necessarily in your usual supermarket, but maybe from a local butcher. I don't have an absolute favorite because it's just not something that I go and buy. I have bought them in the past from local butchers, from farmers who are actually making them in a healthier way, or they're like more like a sausage, to be honest. So this processed situation. So we do know that all processed meats, so if you've got your lunch meat, you've got your bacon, which, sorry, is also processed. No matter what it is that you're having that's processed, hot dogs rank right up there. And the problem with this is during the processing is there's a lot of salt added to it. So this is not a low sodium food at all. So if you're watching your sodium, which we all need to do, because depending on the hot dog that you go and buy, for instance, probably the most famous Shopsies, I had a read of their label, and one hot dog has over 1,000 milligrams of sodium in it. Just one 75-gram hot dog. Now, that's getting up there to an adult's daily intake. The advice of Health Canada of what we're taking in sodium, you're really hitting that mark with one hot dog. So there's nowhere else. There's nowhere else you can go for having sodium in that day to try and maintain it under that level. So we've got the sodium situation. They're also high in saturated fat. And the biggest thing is that processed addition. So to help avoid any botulism in a hot dog, then we end up, or the manufacturers end up putting in nitrates. Nitrates, they are actually two different things. This one is spelled nitrites, so nitrates is really the way that you say it. So this is part of the process of making this so that we're not going to get sick from the botulism. Great, thank you very much for keeping my belly safe from that. However, studies link colon cancer, all sorts of different cancers to the nitrates that are put into processed food. So while yes, you're being protected from the botulism, cancer is a much bigger beast to deal with. So that's really the crux of where you don't want to be having the hot dogs all the time, every day, every week, all of that situation. Now there's a new, actually I say newer because it's been around for a while, the celery extract, which is more naturally occurring nitrates. So here we go, natural or not. Yes, it would be lovely to think that that's going to solve the problem of adding this in, and it's a healthier option. Sadly, when it's all broken down in our bodies, nitrites are nitrites, and it has that effect, that cancer forming effect on our body. So, okay, give it a shot. Go buy the ones that have the celery seed extract in it, the more natural form. However, you still have to know that having them all the time, every week, as a lunch, as a fast lunch or something like that, is just not a healthy option. We just can't get around that situation, sadly. So your better options from an overall nutritional standpoint is a chicken or a turkey, because there's less sodium in it, and then there's also less saturated fat. We still have the nitrates in there. You can't get rid of them. The only way you're going to get rid of them is if you go and buy a veggie dog. A veggie dog still is competing in the sodium arena. However, a much lower level, or actually no level, of nitrates in there, because you don't have the meat. You don't have the meat in there. So maybe a veggie dog, if you're doing hot dogs more regularly, is definitely something that you can just put in there and try it out. You never know who's going to like it. Might be someone's favorite in the family, or maybe not, or you just throw them on the barbecue. Maybe don't tell everybody, just go and see what they have to say. Think, oh, is this one any good or not? So that's a really good option for the nitrite situation. And if it's just sort of an occasional situation, have a read of the label. You've got to read your labels. If you're not doing that, I know it sounds like a really boring kind of thing, like you feel like you're in school, have to read everything, then that's not so great. But you've got to read these labels and see what are the numbers on there. This is when you want to look at the label with the numbers on it. So what is the sodium per hot dog, 35 gram, 75 gram hot dog that you're going to have, the smaller franks, or the big chunky thick ones. And if you can keep that sodium level under 400, then you're looking at maybe more of like a third of your sodium intake in a day, which is a much better balanced if you're having this sort of as a meal or snack, at the ball game or whatever it happens to be. So that under 400, and really try and keep that saturated fat down as low as possible. So go out and let me know what your favorite hot dog is. What is your favorite one? Have a read of the label and then let me know, and I will go and check it out. I would love to be able to recommend a healthier dog to people, but because of the process situation, it's just not something that I do. And again, as I said, I recognize that it's going to happen anyway, so see what you can do. I always opt for sausages. I get sausages from my butcher, and I know what's in it. There's no fillers. There's the ingredient list, and it's just meat and vegetables, all those kind of things. So if that's something that you can stretch to, different price point, a lot of the time, some sausages you do, again, really need to read the label, because if they're more processed meat, then they're going to have those preservatives in them again, which we just don't want to have. So if you haven't checked out the Best Burger Challenge, because I talked about that, you got the burgers and the dogs, then you can have a look on liannephillipson.com, and the whole list of all of those great burgers that we tasted with Jerry Agar over on the island at RCYC at the Royal Canadian Yacht Club on a beautiful sunny day. We tasted a whole bunch of burgers and came up with our best veggie burgers, meat burgers, and salmon. So there's some great options there for you too. Thank you so much for joining me today, and put your comments below. I want to hear what are your favorite hot dogs, and that could help everybody else out too. All right, have a beautiful summer. I'll be back again talking about something else. If there's something you'd like me to speak about or delve into a little bit more, then do let me know. Thanks. Take care.